Sandplastic. Websy builds. Websy builds. Websy builds. Sandplastic. Websy builds. Sandplastic. Science. Sandplastic.
Hey everybody, it's WebC and welcome to another Friday night of WebC Builds Live. And here we are painting more parts. That's what we're doing tonight, guys. So we're going to go over color theory all over again. I'm going to tell you all about it, tell you all about how to airbrush and all that fun stuff. So here we are tonight. I got all these parts already sanded and pre-washed. That means they are ready to go onto runner clips, or what I call gator clips. And these will help me paint the parts, hopefully. Anywho, that's the fun part of it all. I will mute my microphone when I start painting because I don't want to annoy you all with that awful sound. I know it's an awful sound, trust me. Headphones not too comfortable. Tighten them up so they can sit. So I decided to stop wearing. Yeah, I'm gonna stop doing that too. I'm gonna stop doing that too. I gotta remember my S's. I slither like a snake. S's with my S's, and it's annoying. So when I say S words, I have to use an E inflection. S, and then there's another inflection I'm supposed to use to not do that. So, and then it sounds like I'm still saying the S word, but I'm not doing a whole bunch of that like a snake. Slithering like a snake. Are you guys all here? Hey, how's it going, everybody? Mr. Wizard's here. Thanks for all the likes, Mr. Wizard.
Dustin.
And then we are, yeah.
Put down just a touch, please. Thank you.
We are live. Everywhere. Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. And my favorite, YouTube. All right. So like I said, we're just taking parts, put them on running clips. That's what the first step is always, guys. No. Actually, the first step is getting your parts sanded up and ready to go because it's the most tedious part and it's the part nobody likes to do. I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm the same way. I do not like painting or sanding parts. I wish there was like some sort of device I could like just put them all in and it would pre-do it. Like do a whole, that would be so cool if we get a pre-sander for us. Oh, that'd be cool. I mean, you'd have to go back and like check. Like I had to go back. Like what I did was I made sure every large surface, like this piece right here, I made sure it didn't have any dips or bows in it. So if you're wondering what's the importance of sanding, you're removing uneven surfaces so that when you paint, your surfaces look nicer. Okay. So, oh, you guys got a really good view over there on YouTube. Just so you know, on TikTok, you're getting a small view. If you head over to my bio, hit the YouTube link, and go to the live feed on the YouTube link through my bio on TikTok, you will see a much better view of what I got going on here. You'll see a wider view. You'll see my hands much better, everything better. However, the sharpness of the TikTok camera is sharp. So you get a sharper view from the TikTok camera. So there's kind of like a cutting edge if you're on one side or the other. So I got bonuses for each club. You know what I mean? Anyways, here we are. I'm sure that probably made her giggle. I can't look over right now. Yeah. So I did change my TikTok live goals, guys. If you guys want to send me those 10 donuts, That would be so awesome. I love donuts, and I think it's so cool that you can send people things. So that's my goal right now. It's just a little fun goal, nothing serious. Just 10 little donuts, little happy little donuts. Oh, the happy little donuts. All right, and like I said, so you can't really see everything we're doing over here, because this whole project is gonna take up a lot of space. You're gonna be surprised once you be like, "Oh, you're done." No, I got more. I got more. We're gonna get through it though. I don't like that one. Let's switch clips for this piece. There we go. Now it's gripping. All right, so see, this is what it looks like. You just find the right spot to put the part so it doesn't fall off. All right, there you go. Now you know why I was shaking it violently. Vigorously. Violently? I'm not sure about the word vigorous. Alrighty then. That's one runner down. I don't think we're going to be able to get all the pieces put into clips all at once because there's a lot of parts. A lot of parts. So what we will do is we will section. We have it all sectioned off into different sections. So as we're working, we'll work through those different sections, and it'll help us clear through one at a time what we need to do. So the first color I'll be doing tonight is this green, or it looks like, or no, I'll be doing gunmetal. Gunmetal will be like the first color that I work on tonight, I think, or something. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna see what color makes sense to go first. That's another thing. You can pick up and rearrange your piles of parts. Okay, so it looks like I'm done with that color, which is good. I pretty much am. But when we move a towel, there's another set of parts. So these are going to become gunmetal. And then these two piles over here are also going to become gunmetal. Or three piles? I think there's three piles. One pile is not going to become gunmetal. One pile is going to get painted all black. That's because those pieces are going to get painted silver. And I want them to really be silver, and I don't want them to have any yellow showing through, and there's a bunch of yellow in there. So we're not going to do that. We're going to be doing it right. Don't worry. All right. So there's not very many pieces in this pile, so we should be able to get this done tonight. All right. So what I do is I just layer over next to my airbrush station. I have a layer of towels, parts. That just separates the parts by their runners. And then when I line them up on the drying cubes that I built, all I do is I keep them like in rows. And then I have some tape that I can put to mark what row is what row for a runner. And like say like I got all my, these are J runners, or these are G parts, so this whole pile is G parts, so it would only be like two little rows, and then I would have like a G and then an arrow pointing towards which side the G parts are, and then that helps me keep them separated when I'm painting them. And then when they go back into the buckets, they go back into their specified buckets, so they go into the G bucket, or they'll go into, you know, the A bucket or the B bucket. It's whatever bucket you put it in. Yeah, I think I'm going to run out of clips here. So with some of these pieces, I was hoping to do some fun stuff. I'm not seeing a whole lot of places for that. So this piece, I want this part here to be a different color than the rest of the pieces. So this is going to be gunmetal, and the centerpiece is going to be painted. This green and a purple. So we don't set it into a different pile. We just remember that this piece needs that color set. So we'll go through and do those colors first, clean our gun out, and then let those pieces dry that want the color, set their team aside with them, and then we'll go back and finish them up after they dry. We gotta tape them and all that stuff too. It's lots of work to go into this. Once we get done putting these parts on runners, we'll get these parts over here put in. We'll put them in their bins. Their bins are clean, so we'll put them in there. We'll let them sit over here. I cleaned my entire workstation this evening after dinner before the show started. Oh, which not everybody will do, but I do it. I clean it. I give everything a good wipe down as much as I can to prevent a whole bunch of dust from getting kicked up. Because, well, I spent a lot of time washing and drying these parts. I want to be able to just go ahead and paint these parts. So I'd like to not have to stop and clean them again. Not complaining, but just making sure you understand. I don't want to clean parts multiple times. It's just not our style. All right. Don't forget, we are brought to you by Clarksville Hobby Depot. Head on over there. Link is in the bio. Head on over there. Hitting that link lets my sponsor know I sent you there. Buying something helps me out, but you don't have to buy anything if you don't want to. My sponsor just needs to know that I'm sending people to his website. So head on over there. Check them out. If you do buy something, though, head on over to my YouTube, and I'm going to put this code up real quick, and you can get that code, and that code will help you. All right. Let me see. I'll read this off. Go to ClarksvilleHobbyDepot.com and use the discount code WebCOfficial for discounts of 10% off a purchase of $25 or more. Head on over to the Clarksville Hobby Depot, where you can get RC cars, hobby supplies, models, planes, trains, robots, and cars. You can get diorama supplies, even nipper tools, and all sorts of fun things to go with that. So head on over to ClarksvilleHobbyDepot.com and get your hobby supplies filled out. Have a great night. So head on over there. Check that out. Do that. I know. I sound awful. I'm a horrible person for doing that to you guys. I'm sorry. Anyhow, here I am. This is what we're doing. Do we have any chat boxes open right now? Anybody trying to talk? Yeah. I'll open up the chat box for a little bit while you guys watch. Go ahead. Chat me up. I have time. If I close the chat box, that means I won't be able to pay attention. If the chat box is open on my screen on YouTube, that means you guys can come on through and talk to me. All right. So when we move parts over, we're going to take the towel they were on and we'll set them on top of those parts. We're going to keep that towel with them because those parts in that towel are clean together. They just did a little bit of drying. So be really careful when you're pouring your parts. Don't want to mess that up. Ooh-wee. Right. Oh yeah. Cody Rhodes. I remember Cody from back in the day. go. We're all set up, ready to roll. Now we're going to talk about airbrush and airbrush theory. So if that's what you guys came to talk about, now is the time to do that. So the first thing we'll talk about is my fancy dancy airbrush kit that I have. All right, so this is her. It's the thing. I don't know what we want to call it. This is what it is. This is what it looks like. This is my airbrush pump. There's no tank on it. It just pumps air. You can tell it to increase how much air it pumps and how fast it pumps. I have a splitter. It came with it. This pump is designed to produce enough air that 2 airbrushes can be simultaneously fired. I am not kidding. You can simultaneously fire 2 airbrushes. The pump will figure out that it needs to fix its adjustment, and it'll crank into high gear and pump out enough air for you. Another thing is this is a pretty quiet pump. It does still make noise, but my fan is way louder than my pump. So if that gives you guys any idea on how quiet my pump really is, like when I turn my fan on, it drowns out any noise my pump makes. Pump does make a little bit of vibration, but if you put it up on a shelf, it has these nice vibration nubs on them that try and reduce the vibration. Along with that, it has a big wide underneath opening for air to come into, right there. And that is my air pump. I am just using the airbrushes off the pump that they sent me when I bought the system. The reason why is because, well, one, I haven't went out and like bought a $200 airbrush yet. Like I'm not gonna, not for one airbrush. That sounds like that sounds expensive. So I don't always, I can't always give you like a review on how well these really work compared to really expensive airbrushes. But these airbrushes that they sent me, I've been using them for over a year now, and I really like these airbrushes. They clean nice, they work nice. Pretty much they break down really nice. There's a whole bunch that's really great about them. Here's the water tank, or here's the water catch and filter. So down here is this little purge button that you push and air shoots out, and then it shoots the water out too. There's a filter up here that prevents the water from going through the rest of the brush. I have a dial that allows me to control at the airbrush how much flow of air I'm getting. And then I have a quick release attached to the flow. And then I have my 2 pieces right here that are the final setup of that section. And then once we put the air nozzle to the side, we can look at the airbrush itself. So this is, this is a standard $20 airbrush, nothing fancy. It's nickel plated. It has a series of different tips you can put into it. It has 3 universal change out tips. I believe it's a 0.2, a 0.3, and a 0.5, or I believe it's a 0.0. 0.03, 0.05, but we just call them 0.3, 0.2, 0.5. It's just lingo in the airbrushing world. So if I say my 0.5 needs to be cleaned, that's my priming gun or my priming brush. Now, if I need to talk to anybody about like, oh, hey, my metallics are clogging up in my 0.2, well, I probably shouldn't use my metallics in 0.2. I should probably put my metallics into a 0.3 or a 0.5 as well, because those metal flakes can clog up. So what I'm using today is a 0.3, a 0.03 is what the needle size actually is. So what you get when you do that is you get this small tube in here. Oh, I got some leftover paint. See, this is why we're taking it apart and cleaning it before we spray, is to make sure we're doing a competition build, so we want to make sure everything's nice. All right, so I took that part off. Now we're going to take this piece out. I figured that was going to happen. Sometimes your needle will get stuck. The only thing you can do is try and pry it loose. And Once it pries loose, then you can pull it out. We're going to clean that, tighten that up so it don't fall off. Don't pull this out. Make sure that don't fall out. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this piece off, right? So this piece has this little flat wrench, and you're just going to go, righty tighty, lefty loosey until it undoes, and then it should just spin right off. It's got a little grommet on it, or like a little washer. That's a seal. Don't lose that. That's the only part you don't want to ever lose because they're a pain in the neck to replace. And do you see how small that is for my finger? That's tiny. So, make sure you have a wide, clean, nothing's going to bump you space when you take your airbrush apart. Okay. And that's it. That's the breakdown of the airbrush. Everything is apart. There's all the pieces. There's the one tool you're going to need. Next, we're going to talk about this tool. This is one of my cleaning tools. What we're going to do is we're going to get a cup from behind me. And we're going to get some rubbing alcohol. I like to use isopropyl 91%. Reason why is because it is a very good solvent, but it's not as corrosive on my lungs as other solvents can be. You don't want to breathe a lot of this in either, but it is a lot better for you and your lungs to be working with alcohol over working with something such as, paint thinner. I have some. I keep it on hand, and I got proper air and everything for it. But we're cleaning out our airbrush. We're not cleaning up paint. I'm gonna make a mess with some alcohol. Don't worry, that happens. There we go. We got some to play with. We'll be able to use a bunch of that. All right. Don't need to wash this. This is kind of meh. It's rubbing alcohol. It's not drinking alcohol. Don't report me, guys. What, Mr. Wizard? You can come in if you want, Mr. Wizard. But all right. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna soak that in there, and we're gonna soak this piece too. This dub that came off of the front. We're gonna soak those two things. Then we're gonna grab a clean paper towel. We're gonna get this paper towel wet, and then the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to clean our needle that goes into our airbrush. So the needle is tapered. There is a machine that you can buy kind of to, like, I don't know how else to say it, but you can buy it. What it does is it's not really a machine, but it's like a little yellow box or a little gray box, and you put the end of your needle in and you twist it around in a circle like this, and then you pull it out, and then it'll be nice, and your needle will be nice and crispy and clean. I don't have one of those. Will I ever get one? Who knows? I probably don't want one. I don't know. It's just a time-consuming thing. And then it'll also wear down on my needle's life. Those are two things that you got to think about when you use those things. Oh, they're not so bad. So, all right. Like I said, when we started, my goal was to show you guys all the awesomenesses of this. Okay. Needle's clean. Just a tip also. You saw that. I don't know if you saw that, but I tossed the needle down, or I set the needle down to where I'm dragging the point away from where I'm setting. That prevents you from bending your tip. All right, we need a little tweezers. I got a little tweezers. Okay, now we're going to pull out these things. Now, As you could have seen before, alright. So here's this tool. So I use this tool to dig in there and get the gunk out. Then once I use this tool, I also have a brush that'll get some alcohol on some isopropyl, and I'll clean it out with that as well. So this is a really thin little, it's got these like grooves on it and stuff, but you can put it in this backside and you're going to agitate it against the walls of it. Yeah, you're just going to make sure you agitate against those really good. And then we'll take this brush right here, these bristles, and we're going to push one of them through. It's kind of difficult. Yeah, here we go. Think I got it? I was just going to check it, make sure it looks nice and clear. All right, it does. All right, next. Well, it's sitting there in this rubbing alcohol. You can see it like letting out the stain ink on there. Look at that, it's coming out. That's what we don't want to leave in there, you guys. That's why we always like, especially for competitions, always check your equipment. Always make sure you're starting your paint session, every session, with a super clean piece of equipment. That way, if you do encounter any other problems, it won't be compounding from different things. You can easily adjust from whatever your initial issue was. That's my biggest tip, is make sure you're paying attention to that. Yeah, all right. So that's clean. We're going to give it a quick rub and a rinse. All right. Nothing coming out of it this time. Cool. My, just got worse. Okay. So now we're going to put our machine back together. So we're going to pick our airbrush up. First thing we're going to put on is we want to put on this very small tip. We don't want anything getting in the way or anything stopping it from going on. So we're just going to hold it and let it catch. And there's a hair on my machine. So once it catches, you don't have to do anything. The hair went away, right? swore I saw a hair that got on there stray. I have cats, so I'm never gonna have a hair-free perfect station. I can't. But I can do my best. You know what I mean? Like, all right. So that's on. You don't want to over tighten that. This is like you just want it to be like turn tight. Like you just want your finger to just stop. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to be like ranking on it. Never, ever, ever, ever. All right, the next piece to install is debatable. It's always your choice. I like to just go ahead and put the next tip part in, and then you can install the rest of the gun together at the end. And now we always check over our needle and we check it to make sure it's smooth. If it's not, we run our nail over it to see if we need to make any adjustments. It feels pretty good, so we'll clean it up once we get it in the machine. Um, so yeah. And the one thing I did not do is I did not clean out that small little passageway between the two spots. So we're gonna hit that real quick. So let's do that. So we're gonna take this little brush. We're gonna dip it in some alcohol, and we're just gonna put it right where the needle goes into the front of the. We're just gonna put it in there. We're gonna spin it around to agitate that stuff, that crap. Okay, we're gonna get all that in there. Okay, I'm gonna plug the end. Pour some of that alcohol in. Swish it around. Pour it out. That's all we're gonna do. It's a lot better. If you look in there, it doesn't have any dirt buildup whatsoever. All right. So now we're gonna put the needle in all the way. We're gonna try it one more time, see how it feels. See if it has a better flow when it gets up to the front. All right, and it is spitting the alcohol out just the way I would hope. All right, we're gonna tighten that down, and then we're going to finish cleaning that needle. I know, right? I thought we already did that. No, well, this needle looks a little stained from all the work I've been doing with it. You can get it clean. And there you go. All right. We will dry out any excess alcohol. And then we will return the alcohol we used. That's all I'm using this alcohol for is airbrushing. So don't have to worry about whether it's dirty or not. Sediments will fall to the bottom. I like to keep my alcohol away from the airbrush, just so you know. Oh yeah, this back piece. It has this little thing that stops the needle pullout from unleashing all the liquid of fury, but I don't really use it. I've learned to control on my own to figure out what I need for the gun to do. All right, I'm going to put another glove on to mess with these other chemicals. We don't really have to mix any paints until we do the purple, which I don't think we're going to do any purple tonight. So that will be my next paint session. I'm going to get all my tools out of the way, take a sip of my drink, get my mask on, and we're going to get set up. Over on YouTube, you guys, I'm going to throw up some music brought to you by Restream, and on over here on TikTok, you guys are just going to have to suffer. So, thank you guys. Thank you, everybody, for all the likes, everything like that. Thank you for listening to me Babylon while I talked and cleaned my airbrush. It's time to paint. It's time to paint. It's time to paint. All right. Wait. So, pull out in the chat box. If Future Pop sounds fun tonight, right, guys? Oh no. All right. This is an epic audio tracks produced by Restream. Oh. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching Websy Builds. Tonight has just been a paint episode night. Once again, that's kind of what it's going to be for the next another week. But I'm going to try and get all the painting done and another week here. And we'll be on to the assembly and detail phase. So, once I get that phase going, I'll just be live assembling it probably early. So, join me for that. Stay tuned. I'll probably post an early morning post letting you know what day I'm going to go live. And see it on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and there's probably one more YouTube. I think I said that one already. All right. Thank you, everybody. I so much appreciate all the likes. I got 1,000 likes for my live this time. That's a big goal. It's a great step in the right direction. Thank you, everybody. Follow on TikTok, and we'll see you on the next live on TikTok. And thank you, everybody out there on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook.
Websy Builds. Today we're going to sand some